Hi, I'm Gina Narcisi, and today I'm catching up with our executive editor of news, Steve Burke, on CRN In Depth, where we cover a big story happening now with the reporter who covered the news. The U.S. Department of Justice is suing to prevent HPE's $14 billion acquisition of Juniper Networks, alleging that the blockbuster deal will reduce competition and weaken innovation. The complaint also said that the proposed transaction would eliminate fierce head-to-head competition between the two companies, raise prices, reduce innovation, and diminish choice for American businesses. Steve, you and I have been covering this extensively since the deal was first announced in January of last year. The companies expected the deal to close either late last year or early this year. So it's fair to say this deal, this lawsuit with the DOJ, it came as a big surprise to the industry. So let's get into it. We've been talking to a bunch of partners. What has partner reaction been like?
Well, partner reaction was fast and furious, Gina. They were absolutely shocked and flabbergasted that given Cisco's dominant market share position, they were thinking that this deal was a foregone conclusion. So the partners were just baffled by the DOJ lawsuit and the focus on the sharp focus on the wireless LAN market. We heard time and time again from the partners we talked to, the DOJ got this wrong. If anything, this weakens competition. Ironically, even some of Cisco's partners were hoping the deal would go through. That's because a number of those partners feel that Cisco has taken its eye off the ball in its core networking business as it's pushed more heavily into security and acquired Splunk for $28 billion. They believed the HPE Juniper deal would actually spark some increased focus and more innovation from Cisco on the core networking. So, one of the partners, I think, said it best. He said, Cisco must be chuckling right now. He said, the lawsuit's totally baffling to me. Cisco's done so many acquisitions over the last 20 years, and the game changer in this case, the specific area the DOJ focusing on was the Meraki wireless cloud managed business, which Cisco acquired in December 2012 for $1.2 billion. I mean, as one of the partners said, that's probably one of the best acquisitions Cisco's made in its history. So partners, I think, now are kind of reeling and left kind of going back to customers and advising them on how to proceed here, given that this is there's a court battle ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of Cisco, it is interesting that a lot of the partners I spoke to that are, combined HPE and Cisco partners, they say they agree that the deal would actually strengthen innovation and competition. Cisco has such a dominant market share in this position that, I think they are surprised that the DOJ is having a potential issue with HPE coming in to combine with Juniper, just because it still wouldn't even come close necessarily to Cisco's dominant position. And in fact, HPE in the complaint, in their response to the complaint, they didn't mention Cisco by name, but they said that one company does hold more than 50% of market share as it stands today. One partner told me they don't see the merger as limiting choice at all. And this is a partner, again, of both companies, HP and Cisco. And they've also mentioned that there's plenty other players in this space, like the Fortinets, Extreme Networks, Arista, and even the startup Nile. I guess we're still waiting to see how this is going to play out. But Steve, what's next? We know HP responded to the lawsuit.
Well, before I even get into that, I think this market share issue is really important, Gene. I know, and if you look at it, we spoke with IDC, and they even looked at this wireless LAN segment of the market, and Cisco has 41% of that market compared to a HP and Juniper 20%. according to IDC. So if you look at it, the market share numbers are pretty striking there. I think the DOJ is focused on that the top two companies here post-merger, HPE, Juniper, and Cisco, would have 70% share in the wireless LAN market. And that would be too much of a concentration of power in the DOJ's view, and give customers, lead to price increases and less competition. We looked at the revenue numbers, and we know, looking at the publicly available revenue numbers, even with the addition of Juniper, Cisco's networking business would be nearly 3 times the size of the HPE Juniper combination. So I think that's worth mentioning and really drilling into that market share. As far as what's ahead here, Gina, I think we're in for a bitter and a long court battle. The early statements from HPE CEO Antonio Neri is, we believe there's no case here. We're going to fight it aggressively. He was saying that he believes this will take 4 to 6 months. That may be optimistic. We all know with the courts, when you get into a legal battle, it can be drawn out, and then there can be, appeals. And I think HPE is hoping that when the new antitrust chief, if she is appointed, Gail Slater, might look at this in a different light. I think they're probably going to take this back once there is a permanent antitrust chief. So I think we're in for a long, bitter battle, and there's uncertainty here for both HPE and Juniper. Clearly, HPE and Juniper are stronger together than they are separately. So, we're going to have to follow this week in and week out. Stay tuned to CRN, and we're looking forward to following this every step of the way.
Yeah, and absolutely. And worth noting, too, that we did reach out for comment to Cisco, and they declined. And, to Steve's point, we are going to stay on top of the news. It's still unfolding. So to read more about this deal and the aftermath of the lawsuit, head to crn.com. And Steve, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, Gina, thanks for doing it. It was a lot of fun.